In today's video, we will learn about atomic structure and chemical bonding. So, starting with the topic, all the substances that we found around us are composed of different kinds of matter. We know that everything around us is made up of different kind of matters, and their smallest unit is a atom, right? The smallest unit of any matter is atom, right? So in this chapter we will learn how this concept of atom, how we find the constituents of atom, that is the electron, the proton, positively charged particle present in the nucleus, and the neutron, that is a neutral charged particle. And here this proton and neutron both are present in the nucleus. So in this chapter we will learn about these constituent particles and can these particles are further divided or not. So starting with Kanad, an Indian ancient philosopher, called this smallest discrete unit of matter as Parmanu. And here the word atom for these small and discrete particles of matter comes from the Greek word, that is atmos, coined by Democritus in 450 BC. The word atmos means uncuttable. That's why they name atom as atmos, because atoms are not cuttable at that time, or atoms are not further dividable at that time. Now, the first scientist in the history that talks about the structure of matter was John Dalton in 1808. So, Dalton's atomic theory is based upon two laws of chemical combination, that is law of conservation of mass and the law of constant proportion. So, according to the Dalton's atomic theory, here are the postulates of Dalton. We will look into this postulate one by one. The first postulate is all forms of matter are made up of very small discrete particles called the atoms, right? And an atom cannot be further divided into still small particles. Then the third postulate is atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical process. Now, the fourth postulate is atoms of a particular element are identical in all respects. That means they have same mass, same size and chemical properties, right? So, this is the postulate that targets the drawback of Dalton's theory, because we know that we have atoms like hydrogen that have isotopes, right? And isotopes of hydrogen have mass number 2 also, right? That's why this postulate is the drawback of Dalton. Now the next postulate is atoms of one element are different from those of any other element. Okay, then the last postulate is atoms of element may combine in whole number ratio to form compound atoms of a new substance. That means compounds atom are now called molecules. Here the Dalton atomic theory ruled the scientific world for about a century, but has many drawbacks, as I mentioned here. The drawbacks related to the isotopes that have different mass numbers. Now moving towards what is the definition of an element. So talking about the definition of element in 1661, Robert Boyle gave the first scientific definition of an element. So he stated that there are substances that can be thought as being of ultimate simplicity and cannot be broken down into yet simpler substances. So they are known as elements. But Antoine van Lavoisier in 1788 stated that an element is the basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. So these are two definitions of element given by two different scientists in two different time zones, right? Now moving ahead, we know that now we defined element as pure substance that cannot be broken down into any simpler chemical substance by physical or ordinary chemical means and is made up of atoms of the same type. So this is the present definition of an element. Moving ahead towards definition of atoms. So atoms can be defined as the smallest particle. We know that atoms are the smallest particle which cannot be further divided and still remains all the properties of that element. Also, the atoms are building block of the matter. We know that everything is made up of small matter, and matter is composed of atoms. These are the atoms of a matter, right? Now, atom always maintain its identity in the physical and chemical changes happening to the matter. Now, talking about what are the constituents of an atom. So, Dalton atomic theory was profoundly shaken by the experiment conducted by the J.J. Thomson. It is also a very well-known scientist than Goldstein and Rutherford. These three scientists gives us the constituent of an atom that are now known as the electrons, positively charged protons, and the neutral neutrons. So these three scientists, that is J.J. Thomson, E. Goldstein, and Rutherford, gives these three constituent of an atom. In the latter half of the 19th century, in the beginning of 20th century, right? The work of J.J. Thomson and Rutherford established beyond doubts that atom is divisible, and in fact it consists of still smaller subatomic particles called the electron, proton, and neutrons. Now, moving ahead towards the theory of. So I hope this topic is now clear to you. Thank you.